Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. And tonight, we're going to talk about the WBC makes a new weight class, just what we all need. Let me tell you what else. We're also going to tell you how much you're going to pay for the Roy Jones-Mike Tyson fight. But first, we're going to get started with Terence Crawford versus Kel Brook. Man, Terence Crawford knocked out Kel Brook in impressive fashion in the fourth round on Saturday night on ESPN. Let me tell you, Brook started off very well. He established a good range, used his jab to frustrate and slow down Crawford. But in the third round, I thought Crawford started to find his range. I thought he started landing on Brook a little bit more. Crawford, I tell you what, I thought Brook did well, man. Crawford had some swelling on his eye going into the fourth round. And in the fourth round, they came close, man, and Crawford hit him with that overhand right, just a big right hand. And Kel Brook just went into the ropes, and the ropes actually held him up. Clearly dazed on this, man. The ref let it go on, and Crawford was just merciless, man. A right hand got Brook in trouble again. And then probably one of the most vicious, combinations you'll ever see. As Brooks bent over, Crawford hits him with two straight left hands, and they just looked like sledgehammers. I mean, it just looked painful. That's the best way I can put it. And they landed flush, and it looked like full force flush shots. Ref stepped in basically and stopped the action. I tell you, listen, man, it took Terence Crawford is always like a slower starter. So, he always gives away those first two rounds, it seems like. And I don't know if Terence Crawford is the best pound for pound fighter out there, but he's got to be up there, right? I mean, he's got to be close. But I will tell you, I think he's the best welterweight fighter on the planet right now, period. I think he beats Garcia. I think he beats Spence. I think he beats Pacquiao. I think he beats everybody. I mean, he's just one of those guys that, when you see him fight, he always figures his guy out. Once he figures his guy out, that's game over. And he hits hard, and he's strong, and he's able to finish these guys, man. Critics will say Kel Brook was shot, that kind of thing. Look, the bottom line is Kel Brook was in the best shape we've seen him in a long time. I mean, he was in top shape. Maybe his punch resistance has gone down, I guess, I guess we could say that. I think it's fair with the Spence and with Golovkin. He's taken some beatings, but he was still fast. He was still in shape, and he still had his boxing ability. And Crawford just completely dismantled him. We may be looking at one of the best fighters out there right now, I'll be honest, man. Before we get into Bob Arum's thing about Crawford, Beeb, why don't you let me know, what did you think of this?
Well, here's the thing, and I talk about this a lot, and I said this a million times. I said, no one wakes up in the morning saying to themselves, I'm going to give away or lose rounds on purpose. But one thing I do notice about Terence Crawford, he likes to lull his opponents into a false sense of security. So, in other words, he'll come out there and kind of just probe with the jab, just touch it, just touch, let you parry it, let you make contact, let you make you feel comfortable with the speed of that jab, make you feel comfortable that, hey, you can block it. And it's not like he's giving away rounds. He's basically lulling you into that false insecurity, showing you a look, and allowing you to adapt to it and letting you adapt to it. And then as soon as he feels that, you're accustomed to that look, boom, he'll change it on the dime, and he'll switch up styles. And he sort of does this, like every 2 rounds, he'll switch up and just switch it up, For instance, came out orthodox, was kind of just probing with the jab, like I said, little touch, letting Brook knock it down, letting him get comfortable with that. Then what's he do? Switches to southpaw, and basically has that lead hand in front, the power hand in front, and he's not even really throwing it as a jab. What he did was he was throwing it as like an overhand. So in other words, jabs are coming out straight. Brook didn't see that punch coming because when you throw an overhand, it's a term with the trainers you like to say, you open the book a little bit. So your elbow when you're throwing a jab is in front of you. It's right in front of your hip. When you're throwing an overhand, your elbow tends to go out to the side a little bit, and you come over the top. If you notice with that punch, he just opened up his elbow a little bit, and boom, like that, and it was a power punch. So he was throwing that punch regularly when he was in the southpaw stance. So again, Brook was accustomed to the little touch, little soft, slow, and then all of a sudden he gets in the southpaw stance and he's throwing it, and it's not coming straight. It's coming like this from the side, and he's turning it over, like, you know what I mean? So it's coming up and over. The fist is coming up and then it's coming down over, and it's like chopping overhand fashion. So, it's just hard to gauge what this guy's going to do because he just switches things up so frequently during the course of a fight. And I'm done second guessing this guy. I'm done with the comparison to Spence. I think he beats Spence. Without question, I think he beats Spence now. And
I've always said Spence beats him, but nah.
And I'm not talking about the Spence that we're going to see coming off the car accident. I'm talking about the Spence I saw before the car accident. He beats that Spence. I don't know what Spence we're going to see moving forward, but he beats the Spence that beat Brook because he's just too hard to figure out. He's just a cerebral guy. And you want to talk about a guy who downloads data. ESPN is sitting there talking about Lomachenko like he's the guy that really downloads data. No.
Right.
Lomachenko is a pattern fighter. This guy is not a pattern fighter. He does not do things repetitiously at all. So the whole thing about giving away rounds, I just think he just lets you get comfortable, feels you out a little bit, lulls you into that false sense of security, like I said, and as soon as you get comfortable with the look he's showing you, boom, on the turn of a dime, he switches up that look and gives you something different. He'll decide, hey, let me lay back a little bit and try to play the counter control. You're not biting on that. You're not falling for the traps. Then he tries to walk you down. Then if he's trying to walk you down and you're taking the shots, then he just sticks and moves on you. Beat you from the outside, from the perimeter. There's just so many ways this guy can win a fight. And to top it all off, this guy's a physically strong guy. You can't bully this guy. Like Jeff Horn could not bully him like he bullied Pacquiao. Could not manhandle him like he manhandled Pacquiao. Brook's a big guy. He's got thick legs, whatever. But Crawford's been in there with bigger guys like Ndongo, Jeff Horn, everyone he's fought at welterweights, Jose Benavidez, but they've all been significantly bigger than him. But
Brook was definitely bigger.
Yeah, but he's Crawford. The bull. Brook looked like a middleweight in there. He looked huge.
He really did. He was use his back. I mean, it was huge. He was bigger. He was thicker. He was, I thought for sure he was going to be stronger. He looks. I mean, my God. So he looked a lot stronger.
All this talk about myself saying I don't know. I really looked at what he was doing yesterday, and I really appreciated just the way he lets the fight unfold and the way he just constantly adapts to whatever's going on in front of him. It's amazing. And I think last night I had an epiphany watching him because it's like I said to myself, Jesus, with this guy is really special. And I always knew he was an excellent fighter. But I think last night I just finally fully grasped how great this guy is. I'm sitting. I would always say, well, why is he letting this happen? Why is he letting that happen? And then I kind of put it all together, and it's like it's all part of the plot. It's all part of the plot. So and then the way I saw him get in that southpaw stance and throw that short punch, like that little short chopping overhand right hand from the lead position. It was almost like a martial arts punch. It's almost like it's like a martial arts punch, because they're like a lot of martial artists. They have their power hand in the front, and they throw punches like that from the lead hand, and that was like a martial arts type punch. It was just, and Kel Brook did not even see it coming, because again, that's almost like a cross as well too, because to throw that like that and throw it, because you're opening up the elbow a little bit, the elbow's coming up to the side, and you do it side, you're like, and you're coming over the top like that, and you're turning it, it's coming from across your body, and the guy's looking at you like this, and you got that lead hand. You're not expecting the lead hand to come like that. You're expecting it to go straight, or you're seeing him throw it in a hook fashion. So you can see the shoulder, because the shoulder will move. See, when you're throwing that overhand, the shoulder doesn't move. It's all elbow. The shoulder stays this way. But when you're throwing a hook, the fighter can see you opening it up, seeing your shoulder open up that way. When you throw it like a cross overhand from the lead position like that, so subtly the way he did, it's all from the elbow and hip. It's all elbow and hip. Bend the knee a little bit in the front and just turn it over like that. It's just beautiful. It was beautiful.
It really was. I mean, it was, he didn't see it coming. That's the crazy part. He didn't see it coming.
Because it came from across. It came from an angle. And the way he did it so subtly, and how he had this much room to do it, and he just was like that. He just turned it like that. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Those two left hands that he caught him out with on the way out, they were just vicious, man. Just vicious. Like I said, man, I think he beats any welterweight out there. But you know what? Everybody's, talks about the mean streak of Terence Crawford and everything. You know what I liked at the end of the fight? Because Tessas, is going, you know what I feel about Tessas. But Tessas saying, and Crawford just stares him down. And at the end of the fight, when they stopped it, no, he didn't. He asked him if he's okay. Watch the replay. He says, "Are you okay?" to Kel Brook. And it was a lot of respect between those two. And after the fight, they caught up with him in the back area or whatever. And Kel Brook says, "Yeah, it was a great fight." And Crawford said, "Oh man, he was like, you got really good range and everything." Both very complimentary, joking around and stuff like that. And I mean, like they had a lot of respect for each other. And I think that's what, Crawford wasn't staring him down. He wasn't like taunting him after he lost. I mean,
can we talk about Tessas for 2 seconds here?
Oh,
wasn't that disgusting what he said? Did you see that what I sent you? I personally recorded it.
Right.
And what did he say? He goes, take that, Brook. Go back to Sheffield with your go back to Sheffield with your $2 million. Like, how disrespectful was that to say? And how fanboyish was that to say?
Yeah, $2 million and go. Yeah.
Take your $2 million and go back to Sheffield or something like that, Mr. Brook. Wasn't that disgraceful?
What was that? I mean, what was, why would you say that?
How
why was that? What makes you think that was called for? We get it. Terence Crawford is a house fighter. We understand. But come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's
just so disrespectful the way those guys, not those guys, the way Tessas is. He's just such a fanboy. Now, now that Lomachenko lost, now they're gonna ride Crawford. Now all of a sudden they're gonna ride Crawford.
Now Crawford's the money man for him. I mean, yeah, exactly. Let's talk about, so after this fight, the big question coming into this fight was, would this be Terence Crawford's last fight with Top Rank? Afterwards, they talked about getting Pacquiao, wanting to put the Pacquiao fight together. I don't need to see the Pacquiao fight, to be honest with you. I mean, he's going to murder Pacquiao. There's no question about that. So there was, there's some contract things going on. Terence Crawford may not resign, whatever. Let me tell you what Bob Arum said. Lance Pugmire asked Bob Arum if he'll be able to keep Crawford at Top Rank. Arum responded, "The question is, do we want to keep him? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. He's got to promote like Lopez does, like Shakur does, like Mayweather did, like Pacquiao did. If he doesn't, then who the F needs him? Maybe the greatest fighter in the world, but hey, I ain't going bankrupt promoting him. Wow.
Sort of like when he threw Rigondeaux under the bus when he was promoting him too.
Wow, man. M-Easy Box, thank you so much. He said, if I were Bob, I would send an offer to Ugas to fight Crawford since the other PBC welterweights have avoided him. That's a good fight. I think he needs to go to, I really think he needs to go to, whatchamacallit. I think he needs to go to PBC.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a horrible thing to say about your fighter. I get it, but, you know, that's a tough one, man.
Why was there a rematch clause last night, but there wasn't a rematch clause for Lopez Lomachenko? Pretty easy to answer that question, because both Lomachenko and Lopez obviously were both in-house fighters. Brook was not. So see how much of a hypocrite Bob is. As much as I like and respect him, I can't disregard the fact that he's a freaking hypocrite.
As long as Crawford is there, they're not crossing that side of the street. They're just not.
Well, PBC is not going to do business with them unless they have to, and they don't have to. And here's the thing, and I've said this before: when Bob had all the welterweights, when he had Cotto, when he had Margarito, when he had Cintron, when he had friggin' Pacquiao, when he had all the welterweights, and he had Claudia, what did he do? All in-house fights. And he never did fights with anyone else. No. Never. He had Marquez too. He had every single welterweight under the sun, sort of like how PBC has it now. So now he's calling them out, but people forget when he had all the welterweights, all he did was in-house fights. So again, Bob, don't be a hypocrite. If you were in their position, you would not be doing business with you either, because the history has shown that when you had all the welterweights, you did not do business with them. Look how many times Pacquiao fought Marquez. And Bradley, they had Bradley as well. Look how many times Pacquiao fought Bradley.
How many times do we need to see those fights?
You know what I mean?
For real. Like, I mean, how many times do we need to see those fights?
You got Cotto Margarito, you got two of those. Look how many rematches and shit Bob used to do when he had all them fucking welterweights. He had Cotto, Margarito, Pacquiao, Marquez, Bradley, Cintron. He had everybody. Claudia. And then what did he do? He kept having. He had Claudia Margarito fight. He had Cotto and Margarito fight twice. He had Bradley and Pacquiao fight. He had Bradley and Marquez fight. He didn't do business with anyone else. Right?
Nope.
So, and then they kept blaming it on Floyd. So,
hand reps. I hope not. I'll tell you what. All right. So let's move on here because, you know, Bob does seem to have a working relationship with De La Hoya, as strained as that is or whatever. But let's move on here to our train wreck of the week. Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. Joshua Franco retained his title over Andrew Maloney in a no decision. Franco's eye was swollen in the first round and shut in the second. The doctor calls the fight after the second round. The problem is that the referee called it an accidental headbutt, or was it an accidental headbutt? I think it was. Yeah, it was an accidental headbutt. Yeah. The bigger problem is that nobody saw it. No one. Wasn't on the replay. That's right. It's nowhere to be found. You know, some are claiming it was a thumb. However, I can't even corroborate that because I can't see there was no angle on the replay that confirmed that. You know, I think Andre Ward said, "Oh, that's definitely a thumb," or somebody said that was definitely a thumb.
Well, here's the thing.
We couldn't tell. We could not tell.
Here's the thing, Eric, not to cut you off. I just want to bring something up that's very important to tell everyone. All the gloves now have the thumbs attached. So it could still be a thumb, but a punch, if you throw a punch, it hits the side. The side of your thumb could scrape the guy's eye, but the tip of the thumb won't go in a guy's eye. So it could have been the side of the thumb that went in there and scraped it and twisted it. But to have the actual thumb like this go in, because of the way gloves are made now, how all the gloves are attached now. Before they weren't. So it's harder. It's hard. It's almost, you can't do that anymore. It's almost impossible. So
right. Yeah. So I mean, even if they, like I said, man, there is no way you could tell from the angle that they were given that the thumb was in there. I couldn't see it on replay either. So at the end of the fight, they go to the instant replay to see if there's a headbutt. There was no headbutt, so Maloney will win by TKO. That's the way it is, man. Well, enter Robert Byrd. Yes, the same idiot who married the other idiot, Adelaide Byrd, or as we call her around here, the worst judge in boxing. Robert Byrd and Jay Nady. Robert Byrd and Jay Nady are in charge of the replay. Let that sink in for a minute. They're in an official role here, all right? And they claim that when they saw 2 headbutts that caused a swelling, 2. They claimed they saw 2. 2. This took 30 minutes. Not joking. 30 minutes. 30 minutes to make up that you saw 2 non-existent headbutts. What did Bob Arum have to say about this? He said, it's time we get the F out of Vegas. Beeb, you watched it like I did and the rest of America did. Did you see 2 headbutts? Did you see 1 headbutt?
None. And I got to say one thing about
Where
this.
Was it 2? Yeah.
I didn't see any. I got to say one thing about this Vegas commission, and I don't know if anyone here can agree with me, but ever since Bob Bennett took over, like when Mark Ratner, I remember Mark Ratner he was a good he was a good commissioner. He was a good commissioner. But ever since Bob Bennett took over, I've seen a lot of like crazy shit happen and a lot of really horrible, embarrassing stuff happen. And this commission was supposed to be the commission. It was supposed to be the standard bearer here. It was the one that set the example for the other commissions. It was supposedly supposed to be arguably the greatest boxing commission in the United States. And it just seems to show the worst of itself every time the eyes are on it during a big fight. We've had so many ridiculous things happen with scores and with referees making bad decisions, and I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
I don't get it. You had this, like, you had a replay and you had 30 minutes to go over the replay. It was only 6 minutes of fighting. That's it. You took 30 minutes to go over this. And you missed it again. I don't understand how you missed it.
And there's no way. Like if they were watching what we were watching, because we were sitting there, they kept showing us the first minute of the round. Yeah. And they were showing us the second minute of the round. And then afterwards they showed us the whole round. If they were seeing what we were seeing, they had to have conjured up or lied to themselves that they actually saw a headbutt, because there was no headbutt. It just wasn't there.
I didn't see anything. And Bob Bennett, I have no comment. That's what he said. That's what he said when they asked him, hey, what did you think of this? I have no comment. What do you mean you have no comment?
And Bob Bennett,
all 3 of you guys said it was a headbutt that nobody saw. What do you mean you got no comment? You were sitting there watching the tape like everybody else. What do you mean you have no comment?
That's why a lot of fights aren't going to Nevada anymore. The more fights are in California now. You see more fights in New York.
Yeah.
Connecticut. We have up in New England, Connecticut. We have a great boxing commission up there. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Foxwoods, Mohegan Sun, great place to have
a lot of fights up there. Yeah, a lot of
fights up in Foxwoods now.
I don't get it. And I thought Maloney was robbed. I really do. And I thought Franco was going to win that fight. I actually picked him to win that fight. And I thought that Maloney was doing well in the first couple rounds. I thought he won them, and I thought that he was robbed, to be honest with you.
In defense to Franco, though, let's say this, because everyone's assuming that Maloney would, well, obviously because of the eye, but
that eye was going to be way too much to overcome.
Yeah, but here's the thing, but everyone was just assuming that just because Maloney won the first couple rounds, he got off to a good start in the first fight too, and then the second half. You know what I'm saying? So, So again, if that eye doesn't, we woulda, coulda, shoulda. Obviously, the eye was right. The eye was perfect. The eye was closed. The fight was going to have to be stopped anyways. But just because Franco loses the first couple rounds doesn't mean like he can't come back and win the fight, because again, Franco does do well in the second half of the fight, as he did, in the first fight.
I hear it, man. I hear it, but I mean, he definitely won the first 2 rounds, and I get it. But if that eye is shut and he could still somehow fight,
they have to stop it.
But let's say, but like, even if he could somehow still see out of that eye and it's closing or whatever, and they let the fight go on, that would have been way too much for him to overcome.
It was a fight. I think Pavel. Remember this Polish guy, Pavel Wallach, that fighter. His eye was completely closed, and he couldn't see out of it. But they were like putting fingers in front of his eyes, and he was just guessing. And I guess he guessed, and the fight was like went on, man.
Hey, you got a 1 in 5 chance. You got a 1 in 5 chance. I mean, I'll take those odds.
We interviewed him once, I think on Rope-a-Dope Radio, and he said he could not see. He could not see out of his eye, but he wanted to keep continuing.
That's great. PBC on FS1. It was one of those cards. I'm not going to go into real detail here. We're going to tell you who won and then move on. Amilcar Vidal wins by TKO over Edward Ortiz. Efetobar Apache scores a TKO over Joe Jones. And Eros Correa versus Henry Arredondo. This was interesting, man. Correa wins a majority decision here. Both of those guys were unbeaten. So, I mean, and they were both like, under 10 fights. And I mean, tell you what, man, you don't see that a lot. You really don't. So, hey, hats off to those guys for putting it together.
I hate to do this, but I just want to jump back to the ESPN real quick, because Bradley said something that was hilarious. He goes, that wasn't a headbutt. He goes, I know about headbutts. Like, and remember how like he used to be considered a dirty fighter.
Oh yeah.
He goes, I know something about headbutts. I've been a fighter for 20 years. He goes, I know something about headbutts, and it was just. He didn't even realize like
how appropriate was that,
what he just did. You know what I mean? It was just
right.
I was like laughing my ass off when he said that. I could not stop laughing. He goes, I know something about headbutts. He goes, damn right you do.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, on to zone. Katie Taylor versus Miriam Gutierrez. Katie Taylor beats Miriam Gutierrez by a lopsided unanimous decision, 100-89, 190, and 99-91. Real barn burner here. The card featured three female fights. Beeb, did you watch any of it? I didn't watch any of this card. Did you watch it? I didn't watch any of it. I didn't catch a Katie Taylor fight. I didn't catch any of it.
I actually enjoyed it. Believe it or not, I actually enjoyed it, and
wasn't interested.
I'll say one thing: that young woman.
You enjoyed that? You enjoyed that main event? That 190 beatdown.
But listen to this. That fight was inspiring, and I'm going to tell you why. No, but listen to me. Just listen to me. That young lady, Gutierrez, I have never in my life seen a braver performance from a fighter in my life.
Really?
She tried. She was getting hit, but she was coming back. She was trying. You could see that any other fighter in her situation, in her position, being beat like that, would fold up their tent and go home. She was trying to win that fight from the opening bell to the end, and she just showed so much heart, so much courage, and I was just very, very impressed by that. And I usually don't like to see one-sided fights like that, because I'm saying to myself, but you couldn't stop the fight because she kept coming back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like you could have stopped that, because she kept coming back. She kept punching. She was landing shots every now and then. Obviously, not enough to really do anything, but I just never seen someone in her position fight with such courage in my life. Like, she didn't even have a discouraged look on her face. Like, she was still gritting her teeth. It was amazing to me. I was inspired by her performance. I actually, after I watched that, I just jumped on the treadmill for 3 hours. I was just so pumped.
Okay.
It's little things.
I didn't say nothing, man. I didn't say nothing.
It's the little things in life sometimes.
I hear you. I hear you, man.
Inspired me, man. She's a courageous woman.
Yeah. That was. Who was on the undercard? Did you watch the undercard and enjoyed that as well? Who was on the undercard?
I actually didn't really recognize any of the names, but I still liked watching it. I'm a supporter of women's boxing.
All right. I'll tell you what, I'm a little salty here, and I'll be honest with you here.
Oh, was that the girl that had the draw? Oh, the hell was the girl that had the draw? She was on the undercard. Fuck. She had the draw with I can't think of her name. Someone help me out in the chat, please. Yeah, but she was on the other card. She had a good performance.
Fanders or whatever.
Yeah, she fought. No, she fought. Who's the girl that had that draw, but it really wasn't a draw? I thought that the other girl beat her. Oh my God, it'll come to me.
Sarah.
Yeah, Harper. She was on the undercard.
Sarah Harper.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I just threw a name out there. I didn't even know who it was.
Yeah, she was on the undercard. She looked pretty good.
All right, so Heather Hardy. All right, let me do this and I'll go to the phones here. Heather Hardy.
Terry Harper.
Yeah. Okay.
She was on the undercard. She had a good performance.
Heather Hardy, and the whole thing with this is that Heather Hardy went on Twitter this week. She complained that women should get equal pay or more pay than they are now, which look, man, I agree with. You should be getting paid more than what they're probably getting paid. And I don't know how much they're getting paid. Put it that way. They're not on par pay wise with the men. She said on Twitter, I wish somebody would have me on to talk about this. I wish I had a platform to talk about this. So look, man, we invited her on. We said, hey, why don't you come on here? You could talk about this because, I'll be honest with you. Listen, equal pay should be one of those things. If you bring in as much as, I'll give you an example, like the women's soccer team, the women's U.S. soccer team gets paid less than the males. When you say, well, they can't get paid and blah, blah, blah. It's on per diem and stuff like that, advertisements. And they've got like 3 World Cups, 3 or 4 now World Cups. Okay. So that's an example. But here's the deal. I don't know who these people are. You know what I mean? And Eddie Hearn puts on this card of 3 main events or whatever with women boxers that nobody knows who they are except for Katie Taylor. She's the only one.
We know Terry Harper. We know Terry Harper too.
I don't know Terry Harper. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. Son.
It's not nice.
Well, it is what it is, man. And so we invited her on. She never got back to us. Today she's posting selfies, Twitter selfies and stuff like that. Listen, man, we've invited the Serranos on here. Never got back to us. Who does get back to us? Jarrell Miller. Who does get back with us? Caleb Plant. The Barrientos twins. Vito Malnecki is going to be on the show next week. You see a pattern here?
Come on,
we had to see a pattern.
We had Sulam Urbina on. We had freaking Christina Hammer on. We had
Christina Hammer, yeah.
We had Shayna Fabiano on here. What are you laughing at?
You know what? And you can complain all you want, man, but unless you can, you need to be able to fill an arena, and you need to do press. This is the same thing Bob Arum is getting on Crawford about, not doing press, not doing, and everything like that, not promoting yourself. JC said we need to bring the blonde bomber on. Hey, listen, man, we tried. She don't want to be on here, and that's okay. Go back to posting selfies on Twitter. I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe you're getting paid more on Instagram being a model. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're there for. Hey, whatever, man.
Well, you got to give these women more credit, man. Come on, man. They go out there and fight their heart out, man. You don't give them any credit.
No, that's not true. I do give them credit. Just not Instagram models. 805 Nacho. Why don't
you start hating on the female fighters too, Mike Nacho? I want to get you.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Nacho, what's happening? Nacho has gone on record plenty of times agreeing with me on this. But Nacho actually takes it further and say, no, they shouldn't get paid the same amount. You know what? Hey, it is what it is.
Come on, Nacho. Don't be a hater, for Christ's sakes.
Nacho, let me ask you real quick.
I'm not being a hater, but let's keep it real. Like at some point, women have to be able to actually draw an audience. They actually have to be promoted and marketed as being, legit fighters. The thing that Dana White did with the UFC with the female fighters is that he actually started promoting women who are actually entertaining to watch. I mean, some of these women that they have out here fighting, I'm sorry, babe, like, they might be technically great and they might be skilled, but we want to see knockouts. We want to see knockdowns. We want to see legit action. I mean, winning 100 to 90, yeah, it's fun and all, but I mean, come on, like at some point you have to interject some sort of action and entertainment into women's boxing. And if that's not going to happen, it's going to be a tough sell. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Like, I'm not being a hater. It's just the reality of the business. People don't pay to see them go 10 rounds and no knockdowns and no knockouts.
No.
Like, eventually people will not watch, So, I mean, if people want to say I'm a hater because I'm being realistic about the fact that boxing fans want to see action and entertainment, then it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and kiss people's asses just because they want to be politically correct when it comes to women's boxing. It is what it is.
That's it. Did you watch any of that DAZN card? Did you watch any of the DAZN card?
No, I didn't.
Nobody watched
it at all, Eric.
Nobody watched it.
You know why?
Because it wasn't interesting. It wasn't interesting.
What about Delphine Pursoon when she fought Katie Taylor? That was a great fight, the first one.
That was a good fight. Both fights. I watched both of those fights.
44-2. 44-2 this lady is. Former world champion.
That was legit fights. What they put on a Saturday night, not legit in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Yeah. They were all glorified sparring sessions.
Nacho's opinion too, son.
I'm just not going to pay. I'm just not going to pay to see glorified sparring sessions. So, just real quick about the Top Rank. Man, I feel horrible for Jason Maloney. He got screwed by the Nevada Commission.
Yeah, he did.
There's absolutely no way that fight should have been a no contest. I mean, yeah, he hit him. He thumbed him with that jab that he landed that made his eye swell. But because the thumb is attached to the glove, I mean, they said it was a legal punch. So, it's unfortunate that Franco got his eye swollen, but he should have, he should have lost. He should have lost the fight. He should have lost the fight, and they should have given the belt to Maloney. The fact that they screwed him, I thought was really messed up. And honestly, the thing that I really was kind of like, wow, at the end was when they're interviewing Maloney and Franco's team is kind of talking crap to him in the middle of him trying to do an interview. And it's like, wow, you guys can't even be like, good sports about the fact that you guys got lucky and your fighter got to keep his belt. Like, you're going to go off and start talking shit to the guy. It's like, wow, that's pretty classless of Franco's team to do that to the guy. Like, it's bad enough that he didn't get the decision, but for them to add insult to injury, that's really messed up. Hopefully Franco, and Golden Boy, are, able to work out a third fight, because I think we deserve to see a third fight for that one. So, we'll see. And then for the main event, man, if Crawford doesn't end up switching southpaw, I'm almost certain that I think Brook would have legitimately, given him a hell of a lot more problems, because those first few rounds where he was orthodox, Crawford wasn't really able to do much. He was able to keep him at bay with the jab, and he landed a couple of, 1-2s and threw some uppercuts, and he was having some success. But as soon as Crawford figured, okay, if I go southpaw, maybe I can switch it up, and he's not going to be able to, make an adjustment, then that was the fight. And I give Crawford credit for going out there and, doing what he had to do, and he took him out. But you could see last night that Brook is done. He's not a world-class fighter at this point anymore. He's a guy who, they've protected the last couple of years at 54, giving him some, nobodies that he could beat up on and just kind of keep his name out there. But I think that he should seriously consider retiring at this point because he's not, I don't even think he's good enough at 54 to win a belt. I think the guys that, the guys that are fighting at 54, I don't think I could see Brook beating any of those guys, the top 5, top 10 guys. So I seriously hope he saved his money, and I hope he walks away because at this point I don't want to see the guy become a punching bag for up and coming guys as time moves on. Hopefully he gets out of the game before they take him out.
You should have one last fight. You should have one last fight against Jeff Horn. That would be a great fight.
Jeff Horn. I think he should fight Amir Khan, Beef. Let's just get both guys paid and send them on their way, to be honest.
That's a good point.
I think both of these guys need to both go away.
Better fight, not you, right?
Let's just do the all British battle and get them both paid and send them on their way because they're both done, to be honest.
You sound like Robbie now. Trying to say they better find something else to do or something, like Robbie does.
I mean, Beeb, am I lying though? I mean, both guys are.
No, you just being a little.
Didn't see that fight though. I mean, honestly, you're
being a little depressing tonight, right now. You're being a little negative. You're depressing. You're bringing the mood down, man. Lois, can you get? Can you bring my antidepressant medicine over here, Lois, please? You're bringing me down. Go ahead.
Beef, just because you want Ebony Bridges to call in and she hasn't called in, that's not my fault.
Who's Ebony?
Come on, Beef. You know you want her to call in.
Come on now, please.
That's cold.
Come on, Beef.
That's gone too far.
Stop airing out the dirty laundry now, please.
Oh yeah, stop that. What's the matter with you? Jesus.
Oh man, ever since Tiafimo won, mate, he hasn't been the same.
Yeah, he hasn't. I noticed that.
Beef, you should be the one you should be up because your boy's over here on social media with his Ring magazine belt dancing and singing and shit. And now you're trying to say you're depressed. Come on. What kind of a Lopez fan are you?
Oh. All right, Notch, we're going to get running here.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
Yeah. All right, later.
Ninja 53413 says 3-minute rounds in women boxing. Can you discuss? What do you think? Yeah, I think that would be a good start. I think that would be a real good start because, again, I don't want to see too many. Watching those 2-minute rounds is almost unbearable. It really is. I got to be honest, man. I'm tired of being politically correct here and acting like it's just not enjoyable. It's not. I mean, some of the fights are really good, but with 2-minute rounds, when the action starts, boom,
they got to switch rings.
They got to switch it. That's their first mistake. Honestly, in promotion, that's their first mistake. And the promoters could fix that. They could say, "Oh, it's a commission issue." No, the promoters can fix that. All right, let's go to 773 Chicago. 773, you're live.
Guys,
I
actually feel bad for boxing fans.
Kevin.
I feel bad for boxing fans that they chalk up everything wrong with boxing to incompetence. That's their go-to. Just more incompetence in boxing. What do you know? They're the same people who think the tooth fairy is real, or they think
how do you know tooth fairy is not real?
A career politician.
I still get money under my pillow.
We got to vote in a career politician who's been in there for 50 years. Joe Biden. He's going to change things. That's going to do it. Vote Joe Biden. He's going to fix everything. It's just that's the type of people who think everything wrong with boxing is incompetence. Just like I was calling in a few weeks ago, we had that little argument. More corruption. That's what it is. It's corruption. And Robert Byrd, Bob Bennett, Mora, the referee, Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, the sanctioning bodies, the promotion, the referees, the commission, they're all corrupt. And this is just the latest example of Maloney getting robbed. But I'm like a battered ex-wife. I keep coming back. I keep coming back to this fucking
Wow. That's
This
rough,
dirty
man.
sport. This
That's
dirty
rough.
sport, man.
You know,
Am I wrong though?
You know, well,
Am I wrong?
Beeb, is he wrong?
Can I say something? He's I'm getting a little nervous. He's starting to sway me. Kid's fucking starting to sway me. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I'm in a fragile state right now. The kid's starting to sway me.
I watched a video this week. I watched it, and it reminded me, Kevin. I thought about you because I know you're like a big Trump fan and everything like that. Did you see this Proud Boy video? Are you a Proud Boy by chance?
You know what? I'm not a big Trump fan actually because he's obviously just controlled by the same people Sheldon Adelson is, Joe Biden, AIPAC, and the lobbyists. So no, I'm not a big Trump fan. And no, Proud Boys.
Yeah, did you see the Proud Boys?
I'm definitely not a fan of Antifa, so I'll say that.
Right. So, I saw this video this weekend, and it's the Proud Boys. They were at the DC March or whatever, and they showed them getting, like, jumped in. And so the guy sat there, and these dudes circled him up, and they said, go. And they started hitting, like, with body shots and, like, the weakest shots ever. And the guy's got to yell out cereals or something like that. It was the absolute weakest gang initiation I've ever seen in my life, bar none. Bar none. But hey, it is what it is.
Oh. So what's your point? What's your point?
It just reminded me of you because I know you're like a big. You're a big Republican. You're a big. I thought of you like as a Proud Boy. You know what I mean? So that's what made me think of it.
Kind of just.
I don't join any groups. I'm not
just lumping them in with
anything.
It just made me think of him. I'm not lumping him in. I'm just. You
don't know the guy's political leanings. Come on.
No, not at all.
He's an independent voter.
No,
he's an
independent voter.
He's an issue voter. He's an issue voter.
Kevin's woke.
He doesn't subscribe to these political parties. He's an issue voter. He's an issue voter. He's like the Beeb. He's an issue voter.
I honestly thought Trump would be a difference maker. I believe that he's not bought for anybody. He's just going to pay for himself. He's just going to. Then I look at who his donors are, and he's got a big donor class, just like everyone else. He's bought out, paid for. He didn't. And then he's talking about,
Kevin, you know what's making me a little bit disappointed in Trump right now? First of all, he's not going to be able to have these lawsuits make him win this election. First of all, right? But he's sending out text messages. He's sending out text messages and emails to everybody, asking them to donate to his legal fund. And they're not going to find enough widespread fraud for him to win these states that he's behind in.
I've donated 600. I was going to say 1,000, but I don't have 600,000. $600 to his legal fund, Beeb. I'll have you know.
But he's taking people's money for his legal fund, and these lawsuits aren't going to go anywhere. He's not going to win the election.
Stop it. All right, hand wraps is right. Let's move on from the Fox News channel.
Yeah, we can spend.
Let's talk about boxing. Let's talk about boxing here.
My last point. Andre Ward brought up a good point. He said they just do a rematch, no big deal. Or someone people would say, oh, just do a rematch, do the trilogy fights, no big deal. But Andre Ward, he made a good point. He said, who knows if Maloney has that type of momentum? Who knows if he lands that clean shot, swells up the eye. In the third fight, you never know. And so people were just like, no big deal, just make it a third fight. They robbed him. Clear as day, they robbed him. That's corruption at its finest in boxing. If people are going to chalk that up to incompetence, I just can't help you. I don't know what to tell you. You're clueless then. You're just a fool. And basically, when it comes down to Terence Crawford, I'll say this about him. I told him, I was calling in the BDA show, boys, and I said, he's going to walk them down. He's going to melt them. He may look good for a few rounds at Kel Brook, but he's going to wilt. He's going to falter. He's going to fold. And that's what happened. So people were trying to hype up this big win, like, oh, it's an amazing win over a world-class opponent. That dude's damaged goods. Come on. We've seen this story play out. He folds. He melts. So I want to see him in there with the top-tier opponents. I want to see him in there with Kel Brook, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. Let's make those fights. not a washed up, damaged goods, broken orbital bone. Dude, that folds. What do you guys say?
Listen, I would like to see those fights too. I'd like to see those fights too. I hope he ends the contract with Top Rank and crosses the street, and then we'll see him. You know, I mean, that's the bottom line.
I'll leave y'all to it then.
Kevin, this was actually one of your better calls.
What's up, baby?
It really was. It was very good tonight.
This is a great call. I think this may be your best call of all time, ever in history of calling into Ringside Reporter.
Nonita K said Kevin is actually making sense today.
I appreciate that. You know what? That co-main event pissed me off. It really pissed me off. But you know what? I'll be tuning into the next fight because that's just what I do, man. I keep coming back. I don't know why I do it.
We're degenerates, Kevin. We can't help it. We just keep coming back. What else are we going to do? We can't play checkers, right?
I can't do it.
I'm not going to do it. It's not going to do it for us.
It's not.
Just not going to do it for us. We can't.
I'm an addict.
Nope. All right, I'll let the next guy talk. All right, take it easy.
All right, Kevin. Kevin calling his own shot here. Calling his own shot.
Kevin's in a good place this week, man.
He's in a very good place. I like when Kevin's in a good place. When Kevin's in a good place, we're all in a good place. Did you notice that?
Yeah. I hope Jason's okay. I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Jason's out on a ledge. Who knows what's going on with him?
Haven't even seen him on Twitter anymore. Something's wrong.
Did you see him on Tinder?
Hope not.
I don't know, man. I'm asking questions.
I don't use Tinder. I use Zeus. I like that. I use the site
Zeus. You like Zeus?
Yeah, that's my site.
A lot of loose women on Zeus. I mean, how come you like Zeus over Tinder? What's the difference?
I never use Tinder. I just don't think it's very credible.
You don't think Tinder is very credible?
No, I'd rather use Zeus.
All right.
I got a good success rate with Zeus.
So you got a lot of happenings on Zeus, huh?
A lot of honey dips.
A lot of honey dips on Zeus. All right.
A lot of honey dips.
Nacho says Jason hasn't been the same since Montero took him out. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. JC says he uses Eros. What is Eros?
Euros. It's money.
Euros? What is that?
It's money. European money.
Oh, I thought it was some kind of site. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Christian Leacock said he saw him on Grindr. Wow, that's rough. What's Christian doing on Grindr? It doesn't matter. All right. November 19th, Los Angeles on the NBC Sports Network. Oshaki Foster versus Miguel Roman, 10 rounds junior lightweights. William Zepeda versus Roberto Ramirez, 10 rounds lightweights.
Starting to get a little dry again, right?
Starting to get a little thin, boys.
The well's drying up again.
It's drying up, son. It's drying up big time. November 21st, I'm assuming it's Saturday, from London on DAZN. DAZN special. Conor Benn versus Sebastian Formella, 10 rounds welterweights. Christian Bylum Smith versus Dion Juma, 12 rounds for the vacant British cruiserweight title. Yeah. Anywho, and that's it for the week. How about that? That's it for the week. Let that marinate for a minute. That's it. Conor Benn versus Sebastian Formella. That's as good as it gets this week.
Anthony Joshua's coming up pretty soon, though, isn't he? He's fighting this month.
Let me see. I think, or December 5th, maybe. Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's fighting November 28th.
Oh, no. Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois are fighting November 28th. 2 weeks, baby. 2. November 27th in Thailand. Our boy, your boy, the best ever, Wanheng Menayothin's fight.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
Mic drop, son. The best ever is fighting in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Beeb, and you're just sitting there.
I'm excited, man.
I'm looking
forward to
because
that.
right now I'm just looking at you. You just look lukewarm.
No, because I'm thinking of the Joe Joyce Dubois fight more so than the
Is that right? That's what you're thinking about. That's what you call thinking now.
Yeah,
that's what you call thinking, huh?
I can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it. That's what you call thinking now, huh? You think about Dubois and Joyce over Wanheng, TBE. You get a chance to see TBE. You just thinking about the other fights.
Who's he fighting?
Suspect.
Who's he fighting?
Some guy I can't pronounce, but that
All
doesn't
right,
mean
then.
he's not Freshmart. CP
We'll pull up-
Freshmart.
we'll
That's
pull
what they
up-
call him
we'll
because
pull
that's
up
who's sponsoring him.
We'll pull out the speak and spell and sound it out. I want to know who he's
I
fighting.
can't, man. Pechamani. I don't know. Pechmani is who he's fighting. And that guy is good. That guy's solid, son.
Mayweather was actually like talking shit about this guy because this guy, like, people call him, like it was bothering Mayweather that people were calling him TBE. It was hilarious.
It's the greatest that I think it's the greatest that Mayweather like this bothers him because the guy's undefeated.
It's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
It's hilarious.
How about that? All right, let's go to B. Where the best boxing calls come from?
Ohio, man.
That's right.
Been saying that.
OH.
IO.
You're live. 614. You're live.
What's good, guys?
What's happening, man?
How you been, brother? What's going on?
Last time Ohio called in, he was trying to pick up a chick, and we didn't even get to talk to him. We had to listen in.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
He was running game on some girl. Yeah, you were running game on some girl when we went to you. I heard some girl in the background, heard you running game on her. I decided not to disturb you, man.
Oh, man.
We're looking out for you.
Sorry for that. I don't remember that, but
we're looking out for you.
Oh, man. Okay, let's get this. First of all, man, let's have you. That replay, man, that was ridiculous. I'm sorry. Taking forever, man. And referee, what's his name? Russell Moore. If I'm saying his name right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Russell
I'm saying his name right.
That's correct.
Yeah, he's horrible, man. So I still don't forget about that Beckel fight with Mares.
Oh, with Abner Mares, Joseph Beckel. That was horrible. That was horrible.
I thought he was done after watching that fight. Dude threw 16 low blows, and then you call one low blow a knockdown? Bro, you got to go. That makes that makes no sense. But yeah, that replay. What's the reason for replay? And you still acting like you don't see it. I mean, it was clear to me what the shot was that hit him in his eye, and they didn't want to overturn it because of what the referee said. I was like, wow. It was just crazy. But Kel Brook and Terence Crawford fight, man. Crawford did what he was supposed to do. I was really, really impressed for the simple fact I thought he was going to get him out in the later round. I wasn't expecting him to get him out of there 3 or 4 at all. Just wasn't expecting that. So I was actually impressed with that. Now I know a lot of us want to see him fight Earl Spence and I say Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. You know, people want to see him in there with bigger names. They say, but I pay attention to styles. I don't get caught up with names. That's a problem with a lot of us, man. We get caught up with names. I pay attention to styles, and I think those 3 styles will be fun to watch with Terence Crawford. Danny Garcia, I think he beat Danny very easy. That's why I didn't mention Danny. But Danny Styles might be favored against Earl in a way. It might take Earl to become for a fighter. So it's all about styles, not names. But he beat Danny very, very easy because Danny don't like lateral movement. I haven't seen him adjust and against a guy like that can move and actually box. So if Earl even come in and fight like that, I think he wins that fight easy. But I don't think Earl's going to do that. Earl's going to come in and try to show that the accident didn't affect him. And he wants to definitely put on the show. So I think that's going to be a real, real good fight style-wise. But Terence Crawford, now, Eric, you from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
His resume. Is it better than Terence Crawford right now?
Yeah. Yeah, those 2 fights with Arguello for sure. Okay. I think so.
But a lot of people, he didn't have the fight. Okay, no, that's fine. I don't think he has enough names on his resume, in my opinion. Those 2 were great fights. I just didn't think he had enough. But it didn't take away that we didn't think he was all Hall of Famer or he was one of the best fighters. it never took away that.
No, never.
I think a lot of people try to take that from Crawford about saying, well, we haven't seen him with this guy and this guy. I've been watching boxing. I've been in this game for a long time. I don't need to see him. If he don't get the Earl Spence fight, that's not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there and say he's not great, and he's definitely not a Hall of Famer because he didn't get that fight or he didn't get the Earl the Keith Thurman. We want these fights as boxing fans. We need them. There's so many fights that didn't get made because of politics.
Right.
AJ and Wilder. We didn't get the undefeated fight. That big mega matchup. We didn't get Kovalev versus Adonis Stevenson. Jared Hurd versus Charlo. The way this is going in the boxing in this generation, we're gonna get more upset than actual big fights because it's because of the politics, and I get so sick and tired of that. But all I wanted to say that was the fight was pretty entertaining up to the knockout. I give him credit for the simple fact that Crawford has moved up in weight classes and he's stopping these guys on a consistent basis. I mean, just continually. He got a knockout. What is it, 12 now? I think he stopped in. I think he has stopped 12 in a row or something.
Well, every fight that he's had at
welterweight,
every fight that he's had at welterweight ended in knockout. So that's impressive.
He's got a streak going for sure.
Yeah, and you got to also take into consideration some of the other fighters that fought some of the same guys he did, and he ended up stopping them. I think Broner was fighting John Molina. He went to distance with John Molina. Crawford destroyed him. Lamont Peterson fought Felix Diaz and Derek Jean. Crawford destroyed both of them. Manny Pacquiao, no matter what I want to say, I had Jeff Horn winning it. Even if you had Manny winning it, it still was a competitive fight.
I had a draw. I
actually had Jeff Horn win it. But my point is, it's him being versatile. And he's stopping these guys when other fighters isn't. That says a lot. That says a lot. Now, Kel Brook, on the other hand, let's be honest, he's pretty much everybody thinks he's pretty much past his prime and washed up. A lot of people were saying that.
Yeah.
But Crawford, just what he's able to do, he's delivering. He's the monster in the ring, man, and he's getting guys out of it. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So I just hope he do get cross over to PBC soon, man, where he ain't towards 36 and 37 towards really the end of his career where they're trying to make these fights. He needs to get leave top rank quick, buy that contract out and head over there. So that's my call, guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Ohio Runs Boxing. All right. Let's go before we go back to the phones here, let's do a few things of the news. Canelo Alvarez versus Callum Smith. According to ESPN, Canelo Alvarez will face Callum Smith in December. This is a good fight. It really is. But I really, after hearing that Caleb Plant might have gotten that fight, I'd rather see the Caleb Plant fight, to be honest with you. I mean, and listen, man, Callum Smith is no pushover, but I was just more excited for the Caleb Plant fight. I really was, man. And so it's kind of a downer to hear he's going to fight, that they're pretty much finalizing the Callum Smith fight. I don't know. I mean, I like both fights, obviously. Callum Smith, the World Boxing Super Series winner. It's going to be good. I've always thought that's a tough matchup for Canelo. Babe, do you think it's a tough matchup for Canelo?
I think it's an interesting matchup. I'd like to see it. I'm curious to see because both guys are sort of like counterpunchers. I'm curious to see who's going to take the lead.
Yeah.
Plant's a little bit longer and taller, so I'm curious to see if Canelo can get his jab working for himself because he's going to have to establish range, and he's the shorter guy. He's got much shorter arms than Caleb Plant does. So
right.
It's going to be kind of like a chess match, I think.
Yeah, and we saw what Canelo did to Liam Smith.
Yeah.
I don't think he does the same thing to Callum Smith.
No.
Two different guys, man. Two different fighters.
Much bigger guy. Callum Smith is a very, very big super middleweight. He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
You know,
He's a big guy, man. It's going to be interesting. This is an interesting fight. This is an interesting fight. Put it that way.
Canelo's in a tough. They're being for a tough fight.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. You know, obviously, I don't pick against Canelo, but man, this ain't no pushover. Put it that way.
It's not an easy fight. Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Let's see here. What are they saying about Pryor in the chat here? Pryor wanted it, but Leonard didn't. No, you know, so you guys got to read that book. If you guys, and I say this all the time when we talk about Aaron Pryor, go read his autobiography. It's called Flight of the Hawk. Go read it because he goes in depth on everything, and he doesn't listen. If he's lying in the book, he fooled me because I mean he seems real truthful about everything. The Leonard thing. Leonard offered him money, like a lot of money, to fight him.
$500,000. Leonard offered him $500,000 for the fight. He turned it down. It's on YouTube. There's a he's being in it. There's a video on YouTube titled "Pryor Turns Down Leonard Fight," and Howard Cosell is interviewing Aaron Pryor, and they asked him about the fight. He goes, "Yeah, they offered me $500,000, but that's not enough."
I think they offered him more than that.
He wanted more money.
According to the book, I think they offered him more than that, and he turned it down. You got to read the book. It's been a while since I read the book, but 500,000 sounds real low to me. I think they offered him money.
That was in the 80s, though. Eric.
Yeah, no, I think they offered him a lot more money than that, and he turned it down. And I'm a Pryor guy, so you know what I mean. But if you haven't read the book, guys, go read it for sure. And he talks about everything in there. You'll like it. So this week, what's new with the WBC, Beeb? They're adding a new weight division called Bridgerweight. You say, what in the world is a Bridgerweight? The weight will be between 200 and 224 pounds. Now, the division was named after Bridger Walker, okay, which is, this is the one who, this is the little boy who suffered injuries due to a dog attack. He was mauled by a pit bull. He was actually protecting his sister from the dog. So I think it's really touching. I think it's really nice. And I really like that part of the story. The part of the story I really don't like is that there's a new weight division. I don't think there needs to be a new weight division added. We already have too many. I don't understand the point of the Bridger weight, but Bridget Nielsen weight. Yeah, that's right. I don't understand the point of the Bridger weight division, the 200 to 224. I don't really get it. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, whatever. I like the fact that it was named after the little boy. I like the fact they did something nice for him. They gave him a belt and everything. But Beeb, any thoughts on this?
I think it was a very admirable thing to do for the young man. I can't say anything negative about that, but I think it, in terms of in the grander scheme of things, I don't think it really adds much to boxing, in my opinion. I
don't think so either.
Kind of confuses things even more than they already are.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I don't like it. They gave him a belt, though. They gave the little boy a belt. And I think that's where they should have ended it. I don't think they should have named a division after him because I don't think we needed a division. I don't think we needed the division.
What about Beeb weight? A Beeb weight.
What's Beeb weight? 100 pounds soaking wet. What's Beeb weight?
Beeb weight's like they should make like a 195 division. Beeb weight.
They got it. It's called cruiserweight.
No, that's 200 pounds.
Get out of here.
Maybe lower it a little bit. Call it Beeb weight.
Stop it. Your boy Beeb, Luke Campbell, tested positive for COVID. There's a lot of things he could have tested positive for. COVID. So the fight is off against Ryan Garcia. It sounds like it's going to be rescheduled.
Yeah.
Fury and Wilder headed to mediation. The issue here, of course, is Tyson Fury obligated to face Deontay Wilder again next. So to go to mediation, Tyson Fury most likely doesn't fight again in 2020. And that's what you got. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. This is what happens, man. This is what happens. Yeah. All right, so Tyson versus Jones. Mike Tyson, baby, versus Roy Jones will cost you, Beeb, $49.99. You paying it?
Yes.
I'm all in, man. I'm a degenerate, man. I can't help it, man. I'm pushing the chips in the middle of the table. I'm going all in.
I'm going to do a live fight cast for that.
I might be on there too, man. I'm a degenerate. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do, Beeb? It's
When,
deep.
when is that on us? Is that November 28th too?
I think so. November 28th. Sickness is deep.
The same night, the same day but the Joe Joyce fight will be on in the afternoon. So
Joe Joyce is gonna get murdered. Anywho, yeah, murdered.
I think he's gonna lose.
I think he's gonna get murdered right in
Yeah,
the middle of the ring. I think he's getting murked. He's done, son. Stop it. Listen, here's the question of the day. Does Mike Tyson, Roy Jones take place at Bridgerweight? And do they give them the title?
They're giving him one type of belt. I don't know what the WBC is giving them a belt, but I don't know what
that Black Lives Matter belt or whatever. That it's got Black Lives Matter inscribed on it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting if they do Bridgerweight, because they were talking about like Deontay Wilder going to Bridgerweight, being like the Bridgerweight champ, while Tyson Fury is the real deal. He's the real champ. I don't know how it goes.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. So we'll see what happens there. We got somebody on hold, Beeb. We got somebody on hold from Rikers.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie 508, you're live.
Hey, yeah! What's happening, people?
Hi, Georgie.
How's the spirit out here?
How you doing?
Beautiful fucking performance by Crawford.
That was a good performance, huh?
Listen, let's start with the positive.
Thought it was good.
Let's start with the Jews. There is a lot of people agreeing three different points. That Top Rank should do the best they could to promote and keep Crawford with a good contract. Everybody seeing across the board to agree on that.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
People also agree that right? I mean, go ahead.
Well, if I'm Top Rank, I would want to keep him. But then again, if I'm Crawford, I would probably go to PBC so I can fight those guys.
You don't think Bob Arum has a point, though? I mean, he's losing money on Crawford. He is. I mean, no other way to say it. And if he can't get the fights done, he's going to continue to lose money on Crawford because he doesn't have that many people in the stable. You know what I mean?
So what's
and he's losing money on this guy.
To be fair, Eric, to be fair.
I say what I want to say.
To be fair, would you say that Bob promoted better Lomachenko?
Does Bob promote Lomachenko better? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, would you say that's fair to say?
I think so. And you know what's odd is that Lomachenko doesn't speak any English. And he's promoted better. Would you agree with that, Babe?
Yes.
He doesn't even speak English and he's promoted better than Crawford. Who speaks English? And it seems like an engaging guy.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere, people. We're getting somewhere. People agree after all the comments in social media that now Crawford should leave Top Rank and go across the pond or be independent by his own contract. So everybody agreeing on that too.
Yes. Yes, he should leave.
Okay. So obviously Crawford stock rose. He went to another dimension because that Brook victory is a solid win. I don't care if they say he was washed up or whatnot. That's a solid win. Now, that being said, that's all the positive that we can talk about. That motherfucking headbutt, bro. These motherfuckers put a system there they're supposed to implement that there on the spot, right on the spot. That shit should not take more than 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
They got everybody waiting for a half an hour while Bob Arum show the fuck up. Tell these motherfuckers don't even touch it, walk away. Then they gotta call the motherfucker who be punching the Pope in the fucking left eye. And every single fucking celebrity, the Illuminati, who the fuck that nigga calling on the phone? He calling the reptilians, who's the devil? Who the fuck that nigga talking on the phone to make this decision? Who's the information that we're looking for? Because obviously they're not the motherfucker sitting there, and then the so-called referee in Bird. Oh my fucking God. This man coming here with this conglomerate of forced baggery
pulling the same tricks, the same bullshit. Then grab that dude for a title, bro. And what we're gonna get? The same bullshit decision that nobody see the headbutt? Who's sending email? Are you sending an email, babe? Because you talk to Bob every other fucking day. That's why you worry. You're sending an email, you're gonna fight the motherfucking WBC Mafia fucking belt.
That's right. Tell him, Georgie.
I'm more mad at
if your niggas don't do shit, who's gonna do it?
Rip him, Georgie. Rip him. Look at Beef sitting there like a sucker.
Bro,
taking it. You imagine if you were in jail with Georgie and Rikers, what they do to you?
I only have so much ability.
Maybe, but check it. This is the problem. You remember those teeth fights? Arum here, the so-called boogeyman. The so-called boogeyman with no fucking bodies ever. No
Pick your head up when the champ is talking.
The so-called boogeyman Louis Ortiz. Listen, what happened with the dude? They took his money for a fucking dive, yes or no? We cannot forget one nigga. It's not even 1 week that passed by. With some fucking scumbagery happened. Then we got the next one on top.
Yeah.
And we can come here like this, baby. It ain't sweet like that. Because people get amnesia. You can get amnesia quick. You forget. We got to be on top of these people.
I don't forget anything.
Montero come here asking if he sent a fucking email too. When Montero come here from the Real Magazine asking if he fucking send an email or what the fuck is going on. Because these people on power, they just want to come in here and talk shit. Nigga, I talk shit. Now who got the power to do something? I gotta go. Shout out to the UK, to the USA. I'm outie.
All right, Georgie. Man. He was all over you tonight, B.
All right, man.
Going in prison style on you, son.
People always take shots at me, man.
I'm sorry, man. I should have stuck up for you. I'm sorry, man.
I'm still here.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. They can't run me off.
That's right. Beeb's here. He's a lifer, son. Nacho says that the article in The Athletic about the Terence Crawford thing said that that he's rejected a lot of TV and radio interviews. He's hard to promote, and I don't think that Lomachenko, at least they're promoting him. You know what I mean? In the sense that, like, I think he wants to be promoted. I think that he makes a better effort than Crawford does. So the only way to really promote Crawford is put him in there against guys and let him do his thing. Top Rank doesn't have that. PBC does have that. He'll be a bigger star at PBC.
But here's the thing. Crawford is who he is.
Yeah.
He's called
You're not
out.
going to be able to give him a personality. You give him a personality transplant, that ain't going to happen.
He's called out these guys over at the PBC. So, in other words, it's sort of like what Andre Ward said. Do they expect me to act a fool just so I could give off this certain image and persona that they want me to have?
Right.
But that's not who I really am. I'm not going to act a fool just to promote fights, in other words. Crawford's just not that guy. I mean, is he supposed to be somebody he's not?
That's the thing. He's not that guy. You're never going to get, you're never going to get that from him. You're just not.
Is Spence an outgoing guy? I mean, is he? I don't know.
No, he's very mild mannered. You never see him calling out people. I mean, as far as like, he's very, very cool. Put it there. He's a very cool guy.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him calling people out or just, he's
not a trash talker.
No.
He's not a guy. He's not very theatrical. I mean,
Teofimo is a guy you can put anywhere. Teofimo Lopez is a guy you're going to be able to put anywhere, and he's going to make money for you.
Yes.
Because he gets it.
I guess my point is this, like Spence, what did he sell? Like 500,000 pay-per-view buys with Mikey Garcia or something, somewhere along the lines of that, or close to that?
I think it was, I don't know. Maybe so.
Maybe 500,000 or 600,000 pay-per-view buys.
Yeah. Look, and this thing with Garcia, it's going to be on, was it Fox pay-per-view, right?
Yeah. So, like, in
a couple of weeks, they're going to start promoting.
We have to deal with the reality of the situation. Terence Crawford's in the wrong place right now.
Yeah.
He's in the wrong. He's just in the wrong place right now.
Yeah.
Bob does not have anybody he could fight. You can sit there and say what you want, how Pacquiao did this, Pacquiao did that, but again, that was when you had all of the welterweights. You had all the welterweights, and you had a real good working relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. So you got him the Hatton fight. You got him you got the De La Hoya fight when he was at 140. Then you got, because you had Cotto again. You had Cotto, Marquez, Claudio Margarito, Bradley. You had all the welterweights. Claudio. You had all the fighters. You don't have the fighters anymore. So it is what it is. He's just in a bad spot right now. It's not his fault. What's he supposed to do? Go.
Listen, Ugas would have been a perfect. I thought that fight that they said that they should go get Ugas. That's perfect. I would love to see that fight. Again, you're not going to get him over here.
Well,
they're not working with him.
Well, here's the thing: if you can't get guys like Porter, Garcia, Spence, then go after guys like Ugas. Who's the other guy? Who's the guy that we had on here? PBC guy, Jamal
James.
Get Jamal James, right?
Yeah.
Get Jamal James. Get Ugas. Get who's the other guy? The guy the military guy over at PBC.
I know who you're talking about.
Get him.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, you don't have to go after the big names. Just go after some names, some PBC names. Start picking them off. And I don't even think they're willing to do that. I mean, they got Kel Brook because I mean, and listen. And you could say Kel Brook is shot, but you know what? He did exactly what he was supposed to do against Kel Brook. If it wasn't a prime Kel Brook, he did exactly what he got him out of there in impressive fashion in 4 rounds.
No one stopped Brook in that short of a period of time.
Brook said he's never felt like that before in a fight. Never been hit like that. So I mean, it is what it is, man. So I think he needs to table it with Bob Arum, even if he gets him to Pacquiao fight and get going, man. Get going across the street.
1 or 2 more fights with Bob Arum, and then he should be out of there.
Because when is it? He still got a year. I get till next October, maybe?
I think there's 2 fights left.
Is there 2 fights left?
I think there's 2 fights left.
I don't know. I don't know.
I actually think there's 1 fight left, if I'm not mistaken. There's only 1 fight left.
So go do the Pacquiao fight. Try to get that Pacquiao fight. It's a big name.
I don't see Pacquiao.
Springboards off. What's that?
I don't see Pacquiao fighting him though, unless there's huge money involved.
Well, apparently he was guaranteed $23 million, from what I understand. Pacquiao said he was $23 million. The fight was done, and then the whole COVID thing hit because it should have been Pacquiao fighting yesterday, not Kel Brook.
That's a lot of money. How much was Crawford going to get for that fight?
He ain't getting $23 million. Nacho says it ends October 2021. So that's still a year. So you still got at least a fight left on it. You know what I mean? He's not going to sit out for that long.
Yeah, he's got 1 fight left.
Yeah, I remember them saying it, I guess last night or something. I remember hearing it.
Well, actually, you get 2 fights out of that.
Probably, I don't know if it's for 1 fight or 2 fights. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Wow.
So, yeah, man. So, yeah, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here, man. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. On Twitter, you can catch me at ringside73. And we will see you guys next week.